everybody to the latest and greatest episode of Heighten Your Sixth Sense with Shaun Green. I got Miss Sesealy Owens from Atlanta, Georgia today. She is a mother, she is a wife, she is a entrepreneur. She owns several businesses and she knows the strategies and ways of basically acquiring businesses and basically living the dream, I would say, because basically once you have ownership, you have the choice and right to do things the way you want to do it. So I'm just happy to have her on the show. This is our first time on podcast, so I'm just happy she can do it on High Your Sixth Sense. And she's a little nervous, but it's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it through it, and it's gonna be a great show. So welcome to the show, and I just want to anything you'd like to share with the audience about yourself.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah. I think you kind of ran it down. So again, my name is Sesealy Owens. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. The main reason why I wanted to come here because I wanted to talk about my strategy for entrepreneurship, which is a bit different. I have 3 kids, one on the way. Really excited about that, and I'm just excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, blessed to have you, and just welcome to the family, and just be at home here. So just a conversation, and we're just gonna have a good time. So
Awesome.
just tell a little feedback about the show. In this show, we like to focus on elevating, aligning the mind, body, and spirit by teaching actionable strategies and fundamental principles. Our relentless goal is to empower every beautiful soul to harness their highest potential. We cultivate awareness, enlightenment, peace through inspiring and elevated conversations, offering a fresh approach to step discovery and steps needed to achieve mastery. So, with all that being said, how do you feel like what you do and your entrepreneurship and your leadership, how does it align with some of the values of the show?
Well, I definitely would say it's heightening your sensibility. It's all about education. Again, like I said, the main reason why I wanted to come here was because a lot of us are seeking entrepreneurship. A lot of us are seeking, you know, essentially a way out or a way into generational wealth.
Mhm.
And it's only, I believe it's only being shown one way, and that's starting a business. At least that's all I tend to see. It wasn't until the pandemic where myself and my husband stumbled upon what we call business acquisition, where you take an existing business and you purchase it, which I also like to call buying cash flows. So instead of starting a business from the ground up and building yourself, you almost kind of dig yourself into a hole, hoping to see your way out, which, what they say about 90 to 95% of startups fail. I was a
Yeah.
part of. I didn't want to keep going through that. So we found a way by buying businesses that are already running, that are already existing, that already have cash and customers. That was our way out. And we didn't have to get into this big hole in order to see the light, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I think that aligns with your show, and I hope it aligns with your audience, because that's those I want to start telling people there are still
Hmm.
secrets that are out there that people are not talking about.
Yeah. So business acquisition is the focus, and then that's smart. You scout and you look and do the research, and you find business that are profitable, that have a good track record, and business that actually have a good cash flow coming in. And so, through that process, you maybe contact the business, you set up meetings and whatnot, and then you go through the process of buying that business, and you come into a business pretty much well established, never been around 5, 10+ years or more, and basically once that deal is closed, you walk into a door with a business functioning, and it makes a lot of sense. Instead of you
Yeah.
having to get a bunch of loans out and start from ground zero to build something up, it's already built and it probably has a good word of mouth credibility already.
Yeah. Now you definitely obviously it's not cheap to buy a
Mm-hmm.
business. So, I want to make sure I make it known that there are loans that you have to take out. However, what's
Mm-hmm.
cool about that is the fact that you don't have to, the business is paying for it and you're not
Mm-hmm.
paying out of your pocket. You
Yeah.
know, um, another really good thing that I love about purchasing a business is that, when you're starting a business up, like you said, you put on a lot of personal debt.
Mm-hmm.
You acquire a business, that business is already standing on its own 2 feet. It's already viable. So you're buying a business and you're able to use the business's, cash flow. You're able to use the money that it brings in to help
Yep.
you pretty much pay for the debt. And you don't have to, you're not always coming out of your pocket. You're not always putting liens on your house and taking out all these personal credit cards and all of these different things, because you're going into a business that is sustainable and will do it. We'll help you do it for you if you do it the right way. It's
Mm-hmm.
not it's buying a business. I'm going to be honest with you. It's no walk in the park. It's not built for the weak, but
Yeah.
it shouldn't be, right? If you
Yeah.
want something, you want to be able to fight for it, and you want to be able to go through the pain and the struggle in order to get to that point, because it's going to make it that much worth it.
Yeah.
Another thing that's really awesome about business acquisitions and purchasing a business, though, oftentimes when you buy a business, you're also buying a salary within that business. So
Okay.
you're already able to pay yourself. You literally walk into a business that's already existing. Not only does it have cash flow and profit, but it also has a salary.
That
So you're
makes a
not
lot of sense.
you're not building it from scratch. You're not hoping in a few years or a year to get a salary, you know, working multiple jobs in order to get there. It's
Yeah.
again, another thing you were mentioning is why I came here. I came here because, or how does this tie into your show and the spirituality? I feel like God is telling me I need to deliver this message, and I'm not trying to give you this. I'm not trying to charge anybody for this. These are things
Yeah.
that our people need to know. It's not being talked about enough.
Yeah. It's true because I mean, before I talked to you, I never really heard anybody have speak on it. So I mean, so definitely, and I kind of looked on YouTube. I don't really hear people saying much about it either. So I mean, it's a lot of stuff on YouTube. So and it's not like I guess a trending topic, you know.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and
So
it's not. I'm not going to say it's sad. It is what it is, you
hmm
know. However, me and my husband were able to tap into something that a lot of people don't know about,
hmm
and as a part of my service to God and to my service to the kingdom is to make sure that I can do what I can to take care of our people.
hmm No, that
So
makes sense. I mean, if you feel in your spirit that God led you to share a message and share what you're learning with other people to help them, that's what you should do. And I feel
yeah,
like that's a great thing
yeah,
because I mean, you only can be more abundant by helping other people be abundant. So,
exactly. And everything
hmm
that if you give, you get it back tenfold. I've gotten
hmm
I've, I've gotten so many things in my life by being able to first to find the secret to business acquisition, and now not going from one business to about how about four now, and I'm
hmm
still tracking, purchasing more.
yep,
Uh, my, it's all because I feel like I give, and because God has given to me, it's up to us to give back to His kingdom and His people.
yeah. So yeah, I definitely love that, and I support that, and I feel like that's a great thing to do. And if you, I mean, the more you get that word out, the more people you're going to bless, and it's just going to spread from there. Because with the power of social media and the way the podcast and all this stuff works, it's going to get out there. It's going to
Yeah,
reach, probably more people than you thought it was going to reach. You know, so that's the great thing about it.
I hope so. I hope so.
Hmm.
In
Yeah,
time.
it will. And so, like, do you feel like there's anything like say in your earlier experience, like growing up, that may have like to help you develop this entrepreneur mindset or the passion, to help the community and people around you?
Yeah, I mean, we all have our childhood experiences, but one of the things I was kind of a late bloomer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think like everybody else, I kept finding myself trapped in this rat race.
The Matrix, yeah.
Over and over. You know, I would
Mm-hmm.
work a job, and one of the things about me is I was never fulfilled. And I worked in corporate for about 10, I worked in corporate life for about 10 years. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I would notice is that I could never stay long because there was always something missing. And
You want
obviously,
fulfilled.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I I knew that there was more out there. I didn't know how to get it. I
Mm-hmm.
had I had no clue. So I think that's what's been inside of me for years,
That
even
that
since
that
I was
hu-
a
that
kid.
that, hu- that hunger for more. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Hunger for more and hunger for something that belonged to me
Yeah.
that nobody could take away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also this thing that I yearned for was a certain type of freedom. And I've always yearned for it as a kid, but at the time I didn't know how to express it. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what it was. I just knew that there was more for me in life. And I'm
Yeah.
sure so many yourself and so many of your other viewers probably feel the same way. Like I go to bed at night or I get on my knees and I pray and I was like, God, I know that there's more in life for me. And but I don't know what that thing is. There's something that's missing. So
Mm-hmm.
I always had that hunger and I always had that yearning and could never figure out what it
Yeah.
was until I started acquiring businesses. So I think
Okay.
it was always that persistence to find myself. It's the strength to never give up on yourself.
Mm. Yeah. So you had that feeling from a younger age, and you really didn't know what it was leading to, but you know that you was going to different jobs, different settings, but you just didn't feel like it was right for you. You felt like it was more. You wanted more. You wanted something different, and you
Yeah.
just kept you. Instead, like a lot of people have that spark. I feel like, or that internal, like the spirits, speaking to them, but then they let just I guess the mundaneness of just the everyday day and everything going on distract them, and they just get complacent where they at, and they wind up staying in one place for numerous years, not
Yeah.
fulfilled, not happy, and then sometime time go by, you get stuck. But thankfully, you didn't allow that to trap you. You just kept pushing forward. That shows a lot of courage and perseverance. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I love the way you described it because it's truly the spirit of an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
And again, like I said at the kid, I don't what is entrepreneurship? What is
Yeah.
that
That would
word?
that wasn't the word for us growing up.
It
I
was
don't think I remember hearing that word until I don't know my 30s or something. I don't know when
right.
first I heard that word. Yeah,
Exactly. You're right. I'm like you. I didn't even know that word existed, that it was
yeah,
such a, but it was inside of me. It's inside of a lot of us. The people that are watching your show, it's them, it's us. We are those
mm-hmm,
people that have that spirit of like, I know that there's something out there that's specifically for me. I have this drive, I have this
yeah,
desire, and I don't want to keep living in this rat race.
mm-hmm,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna stop there before I go on my high horse.
Now you great. Now that's stuff this is all about. It's about
Yeah.
speaking your truth. And so, do you feel like was there any other pivotal moments, like any like pivotal moment or challenge or something that happened that really like push you to like, man, I gotta find this. I gotta find I gotta quench this feeling I have inside for more.
Yeah, going broke.
There you go. I mean
Um,
that's a lot for a lot of people that really drive them to the next. You have no
yeah.
choice at that point.
Yeah, me and my me and my husband, we've had a lot of successes in the corporate life. We've
Mm-hmm.
also we're really avid in real estate, but it was definitely the pandemic that,
Mm-hmm.
changed our lives. We had to stop. I lost my job essentially because I had the pandemic came and I had to tend to my kids. Kids were out of school
Mm-hmm.
and I went from being a worker, a corporate worker, had a really good job, had a really great salary, to now I have to take care of these kids. And at the time, jobs were falling off anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't able to maintain anyway, so it was pretty inevitable. But now I went from working a corporate life to now I got to get food stamps
Mm,
and got to figure out a way to pay my mortgage. And we have this hefty savings that all of a sudden is depleting itself.
yeah.
And my true desire, it came one day when I just said all I want to do is have an emergency savings for my mortgage. All I want to do is be able to pay 6 months of my
Hmm.
mortgage. All I want. That
Hmm.
one thought and one desire literally changed my life. Me and my
Mm.
husband
How
were
did it
having
change your life?
it changed my life because it put me in a space where I mean, I was doing, where I was being stay-at-home mom and doing I was teaching at home with my kids, being a
Hmm.
stay-at-home parent, and then realizing that we were running out of money. And then me and my husband just had to pause, and I was like, oh, we only have so many months left to pay for our mortgage. We owned a house. It was a
Hmm.
nightmare to feel like I'm getting ready to have to foreclose.
Yeah. That's.
Um, so one day having a thought and saying, okay, all I want to do is be able to pay 6 months. And I want to take care of my kids. I want to help them with school, but there's only so much I can do.
Hmm.
So telling myself, I'm like, all right, you got to get back on the grind. You got to go find yourself a job. I started saving, and I literally, when I say I saved every single dime, it was the hardest thing. It was a challenge,
Hmm.
but I ended up saving again. We sold one of our cars. We got rid of one of our cars, so we didn't have to continue to pay, 2 car notes.
Hmm.
And then after that, we ended up I started getting to this mode of saving. So once I saw a check come in, I didn't even want to touch it. I just wanted to put it away. That was my only desire,
Hmm.
was to put it away. Then I would get another check and I'll put it away. And I started to see it grow. And
Yeah.
that just that catapulted me to another level. Seeing this, like, going from nothing and starting to have something, and then seeing, like, I don't know, like my daughter or my son will want something. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. We're in save mode right now. And then we ended up deciding, coming up with this grand idea to purchase a business. And my husband wanted to do it. At first I was against it because I was scared. I'm like, listen, you want to buy this, you want to buy a business. I don't even know what that is right now. But
Yeah.
but all I want to do, you want to buy a business, all I want to do is pay mortgage. That's it. So
Hmm.
nevertheless, he started kind of working, he continued to work the deal, and I continued to save. And my husband came to me and told me, like, yeah, in order to buy this business, we're so close, but we need $50,000. And that's about 6 months worth of my mortgage.
Mm.
So again, it became the biggest decision of my life when I decided to take a leap of faith on my husband. And I did save that 50,000. I did it in about 8 months. Um, and I literally cashed my husband a check, and our lives have
And
gone since then.
the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an amazing story.
Yeah. It was scary at the
Mm.
time, but
Yeah.
in
But
hindsight,
everything happened for a reason.
but yeah,
Yeah, that was God telling you to save the money because he already knew that that opportunity was gonna come. So.
his purpose was his purpose was way bigger
Mhm.
than what I could have ever imagined. And believe me,
Mhm.
it took so much prayer.
Mhm.
But one of the things is, obviously, I'm a wife, and I believe wholeheartedly in my, in my husband and in his ability, because I've seen him achieve, great things in the past. So
Yeah.
I knew this is, as scared as I was, I knew this is what was needed to take us to the next level. And yeah, like you said, the rest is history for businesses later. I'm
Yeah.
glad
I mean, just that 8 months alone, you could write a freaking a best-selling blueprint book off of that. Because
I
just to show people that it can be done in a crisis, you can still save and put money away.
Yeah, and it's
Mhm.
funny because people don't, I'm so happy you brought that up, because people don't really realize the work, like having to sit there and literally do nothing. You get a check and you
Mm.
pay you pay your
It's a
necessary.
sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice, exactly.
Mm.
Those 8 months, I mean, luckily it was a pandemic, so it really wasn't much to do anyway. But in 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
certain things open here and there. But I did nothing. I
Yeah,
did nothing. But all I wanted to do was watch my money grow.
yeah. That's gotta be it's an amazing feeling. But definitely that alone that can inspire a lot of people. That's gonna inspire a lot of people to know that
It,
it can be done.
it's discipline.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if you have discipline, I mean, the the world is yours. That's definitely one of the keys in order to, I feel like, achieve success.
Yeah, definitely. So that 8 months, that was like a moment. That was like a moment in time where it's like I know it's a lot of doubt, but you was going through reinvention, but that all those that all that time frame, it was a big challenge and it helped you with your entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
it reminded me of people who are like on a workout journey, or trying to lose weight or trying to get it to a certain health goal or whatnot. Once you
Hmm.
start, once you start and you see progress, it almost becomes an addiction. And I think that's kind of what it became for me.
Yeah.
Was, all right, I'm getting ready to work and I'm gonna work as hard as I can.
Yeah.
A lot of things I did was corporate marketing and sales. So a lot of the reason why, in which I always, if you can get into any type of career and you want to be an entrepreneur, a lot of entrepreneurs kind of see themselves in a sales role, because that's always what you're going to be doing when
Hmm.
you're an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
So it was, I would bank, I would do as much as I can to like get those high commissions. So those are big boosters for me too. And
Hmm.
again, once you see that money hit that account, you want more and you want more and you
Yeah.
want more. So again, like I said, just like working out, once you see progress, it becomes an addiction. So that's kind of what
Yeah.
it was.
That's true. I mean, because it's like when you really working out, you're really in the grind. I know one thing that really works for me is that like the daily taking pictures daily, and then you go back over a month time and kind of look through the pictures and you see like this, it's every day, it's slight changes,
Yeah.
but when you look, it's like wow. I mean, if you go back and look at 1 month versus like 6 months, it's like man, that's amazing. So I know that same feeling. Every day you looking or once a week you look at your account, you're seeing it grow, grow, grow. So I
Yeah.
can, yeah, I understand that feeling.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about like I know you talked to me about you had a bold goal of owning a Fortune 100 company within
Mhm.
5 years through new
Yeah.
acquisition and partnerships. What strategies are you implementing to achieve that vision?
Well, I feel like the more right now we're in the small business market, and then eventually we're gonna have to start to take ourselves into bigger markets. And I think obviously kind of one of the things that helps is every business we buy, we try to make sure it's bigger than the one that we bought before.
That makes sense. So you still it's like a staircase.
100%.
Hmm.
I can't rush the process, right?
Hmm.
Because I don't want to jump into something and then kind of get in over my head. And
Yeah.
we've been very blessed thus far. But one thing I've learned with purchasing all these businesses over time is that the businesses do get bigger, and
Hmm.
it gets a little bit more challenging. And then on top of
Yeah.
that, not only is the business more challenging, but you still got the other business that you're operating.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, the biggest strategy is like going up by step. Um, Another thing, obviously, the more businesses that you acquire, the more access to capital that we have.
Hmm.
So, instead of working with lenders, a lot of work that I do right now, when I work with lenders, I work with SBA. We may have to get into our goal, excuse me, is to get into like private equity, different things like that. So
Okay.
there's multiple strategies, but I think the biggest strategy that needs to be learned is steps. Don't there's blessings in doing things
A
in
certain
small.
way.
Yeah. You
Hmm.
don't sometimes people go big or go home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I think buying a business is pretty big in itself, but we started small, but it
Yeah.
still changed our lives. And the
Yeah.
more you learn, Warren Buffett always says, the more you learn, the more you earn. So
Mm-hmm. And that's proof. That's proof in your progress.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I just think the biggest takeaway is that, the first business that, we bought was about 800,000. The next business we bought, it sounds like a big leap, and it was, but it was about 5 million, but that's because we added real estate on there to it. But now
Mm-hmm.
and then the next business is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger until we are able to
Okay.
get to that, like you said, Fortune 100 company.
Okay. And so like it's gonna be a process. You see, taking the steps, going through the process. You're not like in a big rush to like go from where you at now to like a couple levels up. You want to do it
Yeah.
step by step. That makes
Yeah.
sense though. How do you plan to scale while maintaining your core values?
Well, my biggest core value is servant leadership.
Mm,
So being able to right now run my businesses is all about servant leadership. So one, I got to make sure I'm serving my team. That's for one. And then I got to make
mm,
sure that I'm training my team and training my partners to be in the same position. As long as we're
mm,
serving, then we'll be able to scale.
mm.
It's to me, it's that's my strategy. That's what's always
Yeah.
worked, is being in a position where I'm able to serve. So, if I'm serving my staff is going to then serve our customers.
That's what you. So yeah.
And
So what you give it to them, they're gonna give to the customers, and then it's like a trickle down.
yeah, my job is to make sure that my team stays happy, and I'm doing what I can to make sure I give them everything that they need. Because if I
Mm,
if I give them what they need, they're going to give my customers, what they need. And at that point, that's essentially how you scale.
yeah.
And
That
then,
makes sense.
my team will be large enough, my team will be big enough, and they'll be trained well enough again in servant leadership to allow us
Mm-hmm.
to expand
Yeah.
into different and bigger areas, all while our current business are still being taken care of.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Because over time, as the size of the businesses grow that you're acquiring,
Mhm.
also the size of your team is going to grow too, because you're going to need more employees to do more work. So it makes sense. But
Right.
your focus is servant leadership, and you passing that down to your other managers and team leaders, and so they're gonna pass along to the team as well. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. I think what that does is it creates a better culture. And you want to
hmm
be able to create that good work culture. And because if you
yeah,
don't, if it's toxic, if it's negative, people are not going to stay, and it's going to run right down to your customer base every time.
oh yeah, it'll ruin the whole everything. It's just gonna spread like a virus in a sense. If it's a negative or bad environment. Yeah.
Exactly.
So servant leadership is like it's is at the heart of your approach. You know what I'm saying? It's like coming from the heart. It seems like you prioritize those needs of the employees to foster like a thriving business culture. And
Yeah.
so with the role of mentorship, that play a process in that with you one on one with the different people or your managers? Are you meant like it's a mentorship type style for your team?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say that. It is. The funny thing is, if you can't tell, my servant leadership to me comes from above. You
Mm-hmm.
know, our God is our God serves us, right? So He wants us
Exactly.
to serve every day. Every day I wake up in the morning, I say, how can I serve? So that's the basis. That's the integrity of it. So I'm always making sure that I'm here. And not only, and when I say I serve, yeah, I serve from a perspective of mentorship, but I also serve from a perspective of trust,
Mm-hmm.
where what I need to do is I need to make sure that we can trust each other. But the first thing I need to do is make sure you can trust me.
Mm-hmm.
If you can trust me, then with the right person, you're gonna give me that same respect. And I have to first show you that I'll take care of you. And then you're gonna
Yeah.
come back and you're gonna take care of me. It's a relationship. It's a
Yeah.
mentorship, it's a relationship. It's yeah, it's trust is that big thing. And I
Yeah.
would say I've worked to establish that well. And then on top of that, I always make sure that you know that I'm gonna have your back. As long as you're doing the best you can and you're holding yourself to a certain standard and you're being honest
Mm.
and you're being accountable, then I'm
Yeah.
gonna be accountable too. So it's give and take. It's like a marriage kind of
Hmm.
with my team leaders and
Yeah.
managers for sure and directors.
Yeah. That's like a great environment though. I mean, people that you can trust, you communicate with each other, you believe in each other, you lifting each other up, you're not tearing each other down. So
Yeah,
that's a great environment. Yeah.
I know and it is to me. It is very biblical to me. That's my kind of my main approach to everything. It is a business though, so a lot of times it's tough. It's not easy. Every day is not
Hmm.
easy.
Oh yeah. No, it's never not.
Make sure that
Nothing is.
yeah, we make sure we're honest with each other. And I want to be able to establish a presence where you don't feel any fear to come talk to me or tell me what's going on or
Hmm.
tell me how you feel, tell me things that you want. Can I provide
Yeah.
everything that you want all the time? No. No. But
But you're gonna try.
I can try and there's going to be a
Hmm.
respect there and it's always going to be in my head. And if I can't give it to you now, maybe I'll give it to you later.
Hmm.
If it's not good if what you want not good for the business, let's come up with some alternatives. Let's think outside the box. There's always a way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was always if like I said, if it's a will, it's a way, right? But as long as but people when you around people, you have a like-minded, and it's kind of like it's almost like in a sense over time you kind of build like one brain, and so in a sense you kind of communicate with each other in a way whereas you don't even have to speak because you kind of can read and feel what's the right move to make or right thing to say or something, So
Yep.
we have that a real strong bond with your team and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it takes
Mm-hmm.
time to establish that. And you got to be comfortable with that too.
Hmm. Definitely. Oh yeah, it's like I said, it's all about trust. But
Yeah.
that only can happen when you trust. So,
Mm-hmm. You gotta
so
prove yourself. You gotta prove yourself that they could trust you.
hmm yeah, but that takes time, but on the one hand, you may be willing to do that, but the person on the receiving end has to be willing to receive it, and they got to be willing to give it back. So it's a two way thing
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So are you planning to expand the public presence, of the business, like for as like writing or other platforms, anything like that?
What do you mean by that?
Just mean like for as like, do you? I know because you mentioned like you kind of like trying to spread the message through the podcast. Like, do you have other plans for us? Any other avenues of spreading the what you're doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad you asked that. Well, what I plan to do is I think need to start by putting myself out there a little more. I'm very private, but
Hmm.
God kind of placed it on my heart and to say, hey, I've given you enough knowledge and now it's time for you to start to spread that. So I
Okay.
definitely want to start talking to more people through podcasts. I hope to get a chance to talk with people on, maybe on some panels. But I think the easiest way is to get on social media and,
Hmm.
just start putting my face out there, just start talking about it more. I really think that our people need to understand that there is a different way. You know,
Yeah.
it's almost like bringing back like the Black Wall Street, like Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It was there. It was there. And now we
Yep.
have the opportunity to do it again. And
Yeah.
this time, I feel like this is what God is telling me, and this is right now a message that He wants me to get out there to our people. So Yeah.
Yeah.
Social media, I
I,
think is going to be the
I
first
think it's
growth.
definitely time because I mean people are tired of, I guess in a sense struggling and having to punch a clock and having to, basically wait on a paycheck and be stuck in different parameters of different rules of, how companies work and, navigate, handle people. So people
Yeah.
are tired of it,
And people like me, I was tired of starting businesses and watching them fail. That
Hmm.
wasn't my thing. That's the thing. There's so many other ways to entrepreneurship. And people think, oh, I'm gonna start a business from scratch. What kind of business should I start? And then they go through this long, drawn out process of getting something started. And I I definitely was one of those ones that I started a business and it failed. It didn't work for
Hmm.
me because that wasn't my avenue.
Yeah. You was just trying to do what you saw somebody else doing. Yeah.
Exactly. But guess what? That don't work. What worked for one person don't work for the next.
Yeah. And but
That's some,
the other thing too, not to cut you off, but I think you have more success when you come from the if you're just doing something for money, usually you may make some money, but a lot of times you probably it's a good chance you probably won't because the
mhm.
main thing is about money. But if you do stuff from the point of like being creative or trying to do something to be like a servant leadership or trying to do something to affect change or try to help people more than it's more of a passion, not just I want to make some money.
Yeah.
Your passion was freedom and that freedom through ownership. And
Hmm.
so you fulfill your passion, but now you are using what you have passion for to only help you, but you're helping other people along the way. And it continues to multiply.
100%. Yeah.
Mm,
Again, I think a lot of people that when you are trying to get into a business and you realize that this is not working and you fail, you get something wrong, you don't do something
mm,
right. I can't do it.
mm,
That takes a lot out of a person, especially a person with the spirit, like we were talking about, of
mm.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So I'm here to tell those people, you don't have to start a business. There's other ways. I'm
Hmm.
sorry somebody told you, but I'm here to tell you today.
Yeah. I mean, because the thing is, like, for as like on social media, I don't hear this message. And so, like, if you say, I'm just hypothetical, I guess, just if say if you was like had not a podcast, but like, a social media platform and you were speaking about this subject, what would be like the message you would like to share with the audience? Say, like, you just doing like, those little 30-second, 1 minute little videos. Would you kind of do it like, from like ground zero to show them the process? Like, what would be some ways you could inspire people to even pursue it?
That's a good question. You know what? I've been asking God that, like, God, what do you want me to say? Where do you want me to start? And I think
Hmm.
I start by just telling my story because
Yeah.
I'm not the only person that wants to be free.
Hmm.
I'm not the only person that can't seem to stay still or content in a 9 to 5. I can't do that. So I think God wants me to just tell my story first, right? How I,
Get
how
a
I
feeling
went
behind it.
from, yeah, how I went from almost, pretty much kind of going broke and saving all
Hmm.
this money. And now I found a new way, or I started businesses and I failed. I was the entrepreneur that would start businesses, and guess what, y'all? I would always either quit because I couldn't do
Hmm.
it. I wasn't making enough money, so I ultimately had to stop. I had to stop putting in so much of my money into it because there was another way, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that until a few years ago,
Hmm.
and that's why I'm telling you. And now here's the thing: I'm not here to build no course. I'm not going to call myself
Yeah.
entrepreneur acquisition. I'm not no guru. I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
that social media courses. I don't want
Yeah.
to do none of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
No, that's a good thing.
yeah,
Uh,
I this information is bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's way bigger. Like, people need to know. And to me, you shouldn't have to pay for this information because the others didn't. All this stuff
Exactly.
down from generation. They sent it to they gave the information to their kids and their kids and their kids.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
I'm here to do the same thing that was done before.
Yeah. So I could see you, being able to stay authentic to who you are and not get caught up in the hype of trying to be a certain way to get followers or views and likes. And so I feel like that would help your vision scale even, bigger that way by being authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that I had to, again, like you said, I've always been private. I've never really been on social media, and the main reason why is one, I'm too
Hmm.
busy, but
Yeah.
but two, I mean, again, it used to be like that, and that's another thing. When you're trying to start business, you want everybody to see what you're doing. Why am I not getting these likes? Why is nobody
Mhm.
sharing? Why I don't have
Yeah.
no comments? I'm not here for that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. You sound like one of my friends that's successful as well. I'm not, she tell that all the time. I'm not here for that. She tell me all the time, I'm not here for all that. Yeah. But, no, that makes a lot of sense though. It really does.
Yeah. It just, God wants us to just get the message out there and I'll let him do the rest.
Yeah. So one thing that's come to mind is that have you ever heard of the faceless YouTube pages or the faceless accounts where people are
I
creating
had,
content? So
I had,
you have a very strong voice. So that could be something that could be, I
I
think, effective.
appreciate that. That's
Mm-hmm.
so funny because I actually that's wow, that's a moment. And you don't even recognize,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ready to tell you, but
Mm-hmm.
what's crazy is that I have been, kind of beating my brain for months. Like, all right, God, what do you want me to do? How can I do this? Because again, I am such a private person.
Mm-hmm.
And I racked my brain until I noticed one day I saw something that said, like faceless content.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been wanting that confirmation from God. And it really felt like you just gave it to me. I felt like you were a messenger right there.
Yeah.
Of like being able to, to speak, but I don't
Yeah.
have to be this, I'm not this big rah-rah person. I like to really just kind of talk just how me and you
Mm-hmm.
are doing and just really kind of keep things really real.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate you saying that because that actually was a really big confirmation for me.
Yeah. You're welcome. I
And
mean, it
asking
just,
for that discernment.
yeah,
And
like, what I'm saying, this not scripted. It's just something, it just coming to me as involved in the conversation. But I just felt like it was I had to say it because I thought about it and then it kind of lost my thought. And then I was like, what was that thought? Then it came back, so I had to say it. So
yeah,
mhm.
like this conversation is beyond ordained.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it's it's very deep. Literally, like I don't
Mhm.
think you understand the power of what you just said because
Mhm.
that's a discernment that I had been asking, like, God, speak to me. This is something that this is what came to me.
Yeah.
Can you confirm it for me? And
Yeah.
he literally just did that just this moment through you.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, I have a good feeling. Like I feel, that was the feeling when you feel like you feel your cells in your body vibrating. I don't know if you ever had that feeling. Yeah. Hmm.
that's got me. Is that not God? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can get real spiritual real
Yeah.
quick, but because I'm like, he's the one that provides all. So the fact that you felt that, like that was like that was spirit led.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Definitely. I definitely feel it. And
messenger.
another confirmation of it, yeah, you can look this guy up on YouTube. A young guy, he's out of UK. He's probably in his early 20s. Guy named Neuro Knowledge. He go by Neuro Knowledge. But
Hmm.
he's a very successful page. And what he did, he's very, very well spoken, very articulate. And he's has a spiritual, like personal development type page. And so he came out when he first started, he was faceless because he didn't want to show his face. Even some of his first podcasts I seen him on, he wore a mask, like a COVID mask. But it was him, but he didn't want to. So eventually, I think within the last 6 months, he decided to do actually start showing his face. And he literally went from like 6,000 followers or something like that, very low 10,000 to 100,000 followers within like a couple months. I don't know the exact time frame, but it was like very quick. I know you're not into followers, but it's just showing you that he built a little following up from the faceless, and then he decided to show his face and do a different style with a whiteboard, and he's going through writing stuff out, and he's very successful with it. Yep.
Mm,
And
mm,
you give it, and like this guy's very successful. He has people that's seven, eight, nine figure people hiring him to do the coaching, but he's giving away the same stuff he's teaching them. He's actually giving it away free on YouTube, and he's like, it's pretty cool.
wow. No, that is
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, what do you feel about AI? Any explorations to that?
Yeah, to me, AI is it's definitely a disruptor,
Hmm.
and I think to me, AI is very similar to years ago. Years ago, guess what? We didn't have Google, we didn't have cell
Hmm.
phone. I think it's
No.
just similar to that. When it first opens up itself into the market, it's extremely scary. But
Hmm.
then one thing that's amazing and incredible about humans is that we are very adaptable and we
Yeah.
learn how to make things work for our benefit. Can you imagine? Let's imagine the time when we didn't have Google, right?
I know.
We're in a library, we're looking in the trying to find all the books and the atlas books and all that stuff like that. But now next
Hmm.
thing you know, here comes Yahoo, and then here
Yeah.
comes Google. It was like, what the heck? Where has this been? But
Hmm.
the thing is, AI has been around for a long time.
Oh yeah, it's been in the background. It's pretty much been part of our lives for probably the
It,
last 15,
exactly.
20 years. We just didn't know it. We didn't
And I
know what
like
the
how you
name of
said
it
that.
was.
Yeah, it's been in the background. But
Hmm.
AI is machine learning, and that's all it is. It learns us now. It's just putting its face out there. Very similar to
Yeah.
what you were saying about the neural knowledge guy. They were just
Yeah.
behind the scenes with a mask on, and now they want to put their face out there, or
Yeah.
this. And I think it's gonna be, there's gonna be some pros, there's gonna be some cons, but eventually, we're gonna adapt to, and we're gonna make it part of our world. That's how I feel about AI. I'm not against it at all.
Mm.
I think it's gonna be one of those things that are necessary, and I think if you're smart enough, you get ahead of it and you learn how to make it work for
Hmm.
yourself. I've already been doing some research on it. I'm a big subscriber to Masterclass, and
Okay.
Masterclass just launched a series about AI, which I watched, and you learn how to make it work for you.
Hmm.
It has some good powerful tools on it. So I'm with it.
Oh yeah, me too. I use it pretty much daily for different things. I'm busy like you busy, so you can use it for a lot of things. And you can get stuff you need help with certain things done within seconds instead of like you have to spend 20, 30, maybe an hour doing it.
Yeah,
You may not use it all what they may present to you, but it could be a help to get you to from point A to point B a lot faster. So
yeah,
yeah, that's
absolutely. I'm the same way. I like for and a lot of people are like, oh, you don't want it to get to know you. Uh, you know, I don't want it to get to know certain things, but what I wanted to know, I'm gonna telling it and it's gonna learn. And then when I come back to it, it just gets better and better over time and it starts to kind of know me. It's almost like I almost use it as a personal assistant.
yeah, exactly. Because it's you gotta know, but the thing is you gotta have some intelligence with the use of it because you can't just go in there and just if you don't say stuff the right way or ask the question the right way, or even have an understanding of what you even trying to get where you're trying to get, then you if you confuse, it's gonna be confused too. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I look at it. So you gotta have some kind of understanding or knowledge of what it is you may be seeking to get an answer to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's right.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that.
But I can see that the use of it can help. With being a leader, it can help transform and also help connect. You know, with the leadership and maybe inspire other people. To it's a way to make the communication faster. I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's something that, I use it on a regular basis. I definitely encourage my my team leaders to use it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the earlier, like I was saying, the earlier you understand how it can benefit you and you kind of come at it from a more positive aspect, the more, you allow it to work for you, and it provides its benefits. I definitely use it kind of like I said as an assistance. If I need something done,
Mm-hmm.
quick, if I need to write something up, um, I have, I have a way, I have it crafted where there are certain specific topics, and I have like those chat
The
boxes.
little prompts. Yeah, little prompts. You save them.
Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
I save them. Exactly right. So
Mm-hmm.
I go back in, and depending on what subject I need to talk about, and it's amazing because it literally kind of gives me exactly what I need.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, 'cause
starting to
I
get
do
to
this.
know me, kind of like an assistant, if you will.
Yeah, I always say thank you and stuff and all that and ask. So yeah,
Right.
I don't know. That's just me, but I don't, it might be it might be weird, but it's what I
I
do.
don't think it's weird at all. No, I don't think it's weird. Yeah, like if it gives me something, I say, oh my God, this is really good. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to see a little bit more, then I'll ask for that. But like you said, I always show courtesy to the
Mm-hmm.
to the AI for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's a great help. I mean, without it, it's more time you will be spending doing that when you could be focused on something else. So you gotta look at the blessing of it. So
Anything that could give me a little more time back into my day nowadays.
exactly, exactly. So I know earlier, and I was with the last conversation, I was telling you about like the family. I read this book about the family office, and you seem excited about that. Um, what does that initiative mean to you personally? How do you envision, you supporting your family and your legacy, creating something like that?
Well, this is who I'm doing it for now. I don't have grandkids, but I'm sure thinking about them. And I'm
Hmm.
also thinking about their kids. And when you look at family dynamics, there's not too many families that can pass down a major legacy. You have the Waltons, from Walmart. You also have like the Rothschilds. They've kind of figured out how to do it, but we have to do it ourselves. So
Hmm.
when we all talk about generational wealth, how do I pass? What's the best thing I can pass down?
Hmm.
And I feel like a part of that is knowledge. I want to pass down knowledge. I want to pass down wealth. Yeah, I built this, but what is it worth if my grandkids and my great grandkids can't experience that? I want to
Hmm.
be able to send my kids to, the best schools. We see what they're doing with education now. No
Yeah.
one, so I definitely think, we're starting a family office, and one of the things that I always do is my daughter, she's 10. I always take her to every closing that we've had. I take her. She doesn't understand now, but she'll
Hmm.
understand later. Make sure, we talk about business and we talk about strategies, and I want her to be able to know, because I want her to be able to have the same opportunities that I'm now creating for myself.
That's smart though, because I think that's important to have those conversations because children, they may be children, but they actually can learn anything at any age. And so, but if you basically, in a sense, cut them out or think, oh, they're not ready for that, when are they gonna be ready for it? So it's
Mhm.
better to teach them as they're growing up these different things, and that way, when they do get of age, they've already been learning a little bit over time, and then they could be ready to maybe be an employee, while they're in high school, if they know enough
Yeah,
knowledge. So,
exactly. Yeah. And
hmm
nobody will be able to put them in a box. And I think
yeah.
that's what's important to me, is that it's their life. And as long as because here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with working out. If that's your passion, as long as you're doing what you're passionate about, and as long as
Hmm.
you're pushing to do what God wants you to do. I want you to have the freedom to do what
Hmm.
God has placed you on this earth to do, whatever that may be.
Yeah, just get them prepared for whatever path they may take, because you can see a path for them, but they may God may put something else on their heart, take them down a different path. So,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I know you expressed the strong desire for mentorship and share information freely rather than paid courses. How do you ensure your mentorship is meaningful and impactful?
I think just making sure I'm staying authentic
Mm,
and making sure that to me that's just through prayer. At all times
uh,
I want to make sure, and I pray before this call, pray after it.
mhm.
But what I'm doing, I always got to make sure that what I'm doing is in service to God and what He wants for me to do. And I
Yeah,
think
keep you grounded. Keep you
that's the
grounded. Keep
core.
you connected.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like as quick as I can have this stuff, well,
You
it
can
wasn't quick,
be
but
gone.
exactly.
Yeah.
I have to make
Yep.
sure that that's why I don't want to I don't want to tie money into it, because I do think, while money is a tool, sometimes money can cloud our judgment, at least what I'm feeling for my purpose. So that's why I don't me charging for something like that is just I can't do
Yeah.
that right now, because then at that point I won't be true to what I'm doing. I'll just be sitting here trying to get the next dollar.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's my strategy, is through prayer, understanding what I'm doing is through is for God's kingdom. It's His service, and I'm doing what He's telling me to do. And right at this moment, I can't charge anybody. So that's a part of my,
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, I think you had the right path. I just recently interviewed a guy out of Florida, Alon Akbar. He's a big time. He's big into real estate and vacation rentals, and
Mm,
him and his partners, they own a fund. It's in the value of like 200 million, somewhere in that range. So he's really successful. And they really have some really great properties. They would deck them out. Anything you basically, it's like a kind of like amusement park on a property, because you got everything you need on the one
mm-hmm.
property. You know, and so, but he was saying like he's doing podcasts and spreading his what he know and his knowledge, and so he was like, you got to think about. He told me, he said, you got to think about people. If a person claiming they're rich and they're successful, would you really have time to be basically trying to get a person to come to these different courses and charge them X amount of dollars to get there, and then when they get there, you upcharge them to get these different courses or different packages. He said he
Mm.
didn't believe in that because he knew people, I guess, in certain spaces that they really didn't know stuff, but they was just using it in a sense to get over in a sense. So
Yeah,
yeah.
unfortunately, me and my husband has kind of been through that in that same space. We were working with a really big influencer, and that my husband had so much information of how he could help people himself, but because he was working with this particular influencer, it was
Mm-hmm.
very well, you got to charge her for this, where you got to charge her for that, and the guy's like, "Well," my husband's like, "Charge her for what?" Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're already on their last leg as it is.
Yeah.
And I don't, to me, I feel like if I'm charging you, then I'm taking something from you. Like, yeah, I understand you're able to understand, I got the knowledge, I work hard to get the knowledge, right? And so I'm getting ready to, now if I want to give you the knowledge, you're gonna have to pay for it because you're paying for my time. That's not what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
It's because if that's the case, every time I pray, I would, at this point, I really wouldn't have no money because God, I look at God, and God is all, He is all knowing, and I go to Him constantly. And He
Yeah.
always shows up for me. So to me, again, having spirit and having a life of prayer and having God really close to me in my life is that's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I
Yeah.
need. That's all. Money is not, money is definitely a tool, but people get
Yeah.
really
It is.
greedy. People get really greedy. You get, I've seen people get arrogant, and I just don't want to take myself down that road.
Yeah, that's ego. Yeah, when you're living in ego instead of
Yeah.
living in just creation and
It's
abundance. Yeah.
unfortunate because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. To me, if you are getting on this podcast or any podcast for that matter, you're trying to learn how to be better and you're trying to learn a different strategy, obviously there may not be like a lack in money or what
Hmm.
have you, but there's something that you need.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, I want to be that person to kind of provide. Not, can I give you all the information? No, you're going to have to do your work. It's going to take, if
Mhm.
you want to acquire a business, that takes a lot of work.
Yeah. Sure, it's a lot of studying, a lot of time.
Whatever it is that you want to do in your life, you better know that it's going to require a lot of work.
Hmm.
'Cause anything that push for, like when people go to college, that ain't easy. That's not a cakewalk, or
Hmm.
if you get a job, you have to go through training, or doctors or lawyer, all this stuff they have to go through. It is not easy. It's not easy to get
No,
to the and
no, it's
and
not.
where it's sustainable. I feel like what we're doing, we're climbing ourselves to the top, and that we're making sure that it's sustainable, and it's not easy.
Yeah, because you building you building the blocks along the way. You know, it's
Right.
kind of like the same strategy as Monopoly. You started with one, you got another one. You say now you got your four houses. And
Yeah.
since your next one's gonna be the
The
fifth one, so
hotel.
you'll get a hotel, and then you
Right.
just keep repeating it from there. You're gonna keep expanding it. Yeah.
Yeah. But even
Hmm.
then, it's not easy. Again, I feel like me talking is easy. And I think the reason why I'm talking is just to spark inspiration and spark another idea. I just
Yeah.
want you to know that there is another way. I can give you strategies, but at the end of the day, when it's time to do the work, it ain't no joke.
Yeah.
It's not,
It's,
it's just not built for the weak.
yeah. Like motivation and all that's kind of temporary anyway. So, but you gotta have that. When you go back to thinking of rich, you gotta have that burning desire. You know.
100%.
So
100%.
that feeling you had from a young age was your burning desire, and you
Yeah. And
didn't
when
you
you
didn't
gotta
you didn't
sit
let that go.
Right. And when you got to
Mm-hmm.
sit here and actually do the work to save the money to make $50,000, that ain't, you got to sit in your house for 8 months and, make sure that you're cooking and, you don't eat out, you don't buy
Mm-hmm.
no clothes, you literally, you give up a car.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much sacrifice.
But look how much growth happened in that time frame. But not only did you grow, but your kids grew as well. Cause
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
kids they don't want me kings and queens of the world. They always want something, so or need something. So.
Mhm. So again, that's,
Exactly.
that's why you gotta we could talk till we blue in the face, but until you decide that, hey, I'm gonna acquire a business and I'm gonna do the
Mm,
work. I'm gonna continue to do the work. You're gonna realize that
yeah.
that work is hard, but if you want it bad enough, and if it's
Hmm.
for you, then you're not gonna stop until you get it. I don't care what none
Yeah.
of these gurus out here say. Nothing in life worth
Comes
having is
easy.
easy to get.
Exactly.
If it was
So
easy to get, it ain't it ain't gonna be around long.
no, that's what they say. Like people that's focus on when people are focused on when we go into ego, the ego is kind of based around competition. You know,
Yeah.
but on the other side of that, when you're coming from the other side, when you're coming from creation and abundance, and it's more so you trying to build yourself, but you're trying to build other people, and you're trying to grow something, but you're not really. The monetary is not the goal. It's
Yep.
the desire and the passion for what you are striving to achieve. You
Yeah.
know. So I know a lot of entrepreneurs are aiming to build something ambitious. Like a Fortune 400 company. Like, what are like three non-negotiables, principles that they should follow to achieve and be, for sustainable success, like, you've been sustaining yourself.
Yeah. For one, don't try to grow too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, always know your business's finances. You need to know your business's finances almost a little bit better than you know yours.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and to me, I would say you want to dig into your business. You want to know all about your business as much as much as you can. You want to be able to know the ins and outs. The greats know it all. So
Yeah.
be ready to sacrifice your time. Your business it's your baby. So as much
Yeah.
time as you will give to your child, you almost gotta be willing to give the same amount of time. You have to be willing to actually give the same amount of time to your
Yeah.
business. Because it never shuts off. It's always gonna need you. And you always wanna be on the up and up. You always want to know what's going on.
Yeah. You almost want to have like the forensic accounting approach to your business, where you're
100,
going for the finite details of it.
100%. Before I go
Mm-hmm.
into, if we have meetings with my leadership team, I always, when I get the agenda of what we're going to be talking about, I need to know the back of everything. Everything that agenda has on it, I know
Mm-hmm.
everything about. Period.
Yeah. That way nobody can't sideline you with something.
100%.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing worse than somebody asks you a question like, "Oh, well, I gotta get back to you later."
I mean, and here's the
Yeah.
thing, like, if your guys are looking for a solution and you don't necessarily have the solution, yeah, it's all right. It's all right to
Yeah.
not always have to have the solution, but you need to know everything about your business.
Yeah.
You almost
You
kind of got
should.
to
It's
predict
your
what's
business.
what's what's coming. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta be on the back end. You gotta be in the middle, but you gotta have the forecast site too of it.
Man, you said it.
Yeah. So you gotta be like a business meteorologist in a sense. You gotta be able to kind of map it out and see you be prepared with what's coming, the different storms, because it's always gonna be different challenges coming.
Yeah, you got to be
Mhm.
in it. You got to be in your business. I would say this. If you ever buy a business, don't expect to go in that business and be absentee. Oh, the business runs itself. That's a problem.
Yeah.
If you,
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. I think that is promoted a lot on on social media. You know.
that's how I feel. That's how I feel about that.
I got you. I got you. No worries. I feel you.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to be successful in your business, again, if you want to do it the right way, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
If you want to run a business where maybe it's a business that's maybe it's an online company, you only got like a few employees. I have over 60 employees on all my businesses combined.
Mm.
That's not a walk in the park. So I got a lot of hands, inside of my business, inside the pot, and I need to know what's going on with every single one of them. And I can't just I can't be sitting on the sideline or, you know, sitting on the beach.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for that. I need to be inside of my business every single day. And it's a lot and it's tiring. But
Mm.
I do what I gotta do.
Yeah. Because you got to be working in your business, but then when you're not in the business, you got to be working outside the business on the business.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Make a lot of sense. So, what are your future goals? Both personal and professional.
Um, I think I would definitely say that my future goals right now is just continue to build up my portfolio.
Hmm.
Again, me and my husband would love to do a Fortune, 100. Eventually, I think I do want to get to a place where I can
Yeah.
start a business. But with obviously, I want to maybe start something where legs are already able to stand. It's kind of able to stand up on its own a little bit and already have a brand.
Hmm.
I want to continue to build a brand for myself. So those are some of my goals. So that's why I'm starting to kind of
Hmm.
get myself out there now. Um, and then I would say personal goals for myself is continuing to learn. I can, that's
Yeah, you have to.
that's almost my number one goal is, you know, what do I strive to learn this year? Me and my husband, one of the things that we do is we like to start planning out for our year. We like to start around Q3, Q4. That's when we start planning out the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my goals for this year is a different, it's still acquisition, but it's a different acquisition approach. And trying to work with, instead of working with SBA, I work with different financiers. So that's going to be a whole nother avenue.
Okay.
So that's, what can I learn this year?
Yeah.
Another one of my personal goals again is getting myself out there more and start to spread the knowledge that God has given to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be. I think that's really great goals. So any like initiative or partnerships that you're kind of excited about?
Um, again, yes, there is. I can't talk about it per
Okay,
se.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah. I would say this. I'm definitely interested in getting into the digital space, and there are a couple partnerships that are coming up that I'm really excited about. So that's all I can say about that.
Okay, cool, cool. And
Yeah.
also, I got a connect too. That's pretty big. Guy just recently had a conversation with out of Dallas. So
Oh,
offline, I can tell you, I can connect you with him.
love it.
So one question I always like to ask people, if you had the opportunity to go back and have a conversation with your younger self, say 21 to 18, that time frame, now what would you say? You know, with your
Um,
knowledge, your wisdom, everything you've been through.
One thing I would say is, there's two things I would say. One, listen to yourself. Be confident and listen to yourself, because you're
Mm,
right.
yep.
I doubted myself a lot in my 20s, so I definitely would cut that out. And then the second thing that I would tell myself is, just hold on, because it's going to be all right.
Hmm. Definitely. You keep breathing, keep moving. You're gonna make it. Yep.
Just keep going.
Hmm.
You're all right. You're going to be all right. You got it.
I love that. I love that. As we wrap up, like, is any actionable insights or piece of advice, other than that you would like to leave with the audience?
Yeah. I definitely would love to say that there's always another way. And that, I've been living with that for a few years now, because, a lot of times we always run into these roadblocks, especially in the life of entrepreneurship, and you don't know how to get out of it, or you don't see a way
Yeah.
out outside of going to working the corporate life, and, finding a
Hmm.
job, living that paycheck to paycheck life. Continue to find other ways, because they're out there. There is something out there that works specifically for you, that's literally going to give you the freedom that that you desire. And
Yeah.
you're going to know how, but you
Gotta
got to
trust
do
yourself,
the
though.
hard work. Yeah.
Gotta trust God, trust yourself.
Do not give up. There's always a way.
Yeah.
If I don't, what I like to tell myself, that if I run into a roadblock, the funny thing is, I actually get excited if there's something that I can't seem to figure out. I used to be frustrated, but what I've learned is I'm on the brink of something new. I'm on a brink of a new discovery. I just haven't found that thing yet. So it's
Yeah.
coming. Once you get to that place, if you like, oh my gosh, I'll keep hitting this brick wall and I don't know what to do. You're this close to
Hmm.
something new, to a discovery. Push, keep pushing, keep
Yeah.
pushing. Get excited. because you're that close. I love
Yeah.
when I get to a point where I'm frustrated and I'm like, I can't think of anything else. I go straight to God. I was like, God, I know you.
Mm.
I know you got something for me. I go straight to God and I know God's going to come back to me and I'm going to find that thing. I know it. So
Yep.
I would tell the audience, do not stop, keep going.
Keep
Say,
going.
so
Yeah.
my 21-year-old self.
Yeah. I love that. You're right though, because so many people give up when they're like right there. You're right there on the precipice of the cusp of something great, but then you let the emotions get the best of you
Yeah. I
instead of
mean,
being led by the spirit.
he who says he can and he who says he can't, that are both right.
Hmm.
So what do you want to say?
Yep. You're right. So it's all about the right. It's all about the right choice. But
Yep.
but that's
Right
awesome.
mindset. The right
Right
mindset.
mindset. Yep. Yeah. That's incredible. Well, that's really been a blessing to have you on the show, and it's
Thank
been a
you for
great
having
conversation. What can I say? Amazing conversation.
Thank you for having me. You made it this was good. You made it comfortable. Like I said, this is my first podcast, so it's definitely
Mhm.
been an honor. This has been good. This has been great. I hope
Yeah.
I
Well,
did
I'm
good.
happy that. Oh no, you did fantastic. I mean, like I said, I mean, you got a very strong voice, very confident, very well spoken, got a lot of knowledge, and so that's why I said I know that you know doing a podcast is gonna be great for you. But if you when you ever venture to do your own thing, whether it's podcasting or just through social media, doing reels or whatever it may be, you're gonna do great at it. So
I appreciate God bless. I
I
appreciate
can
it.
I can foresee the greatness.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm. All right, well, I appreciate it. I know you got you want to get to your next thing. You already mentioned that to your Bible class. So, but this has another been a really great and amazing episode. Heighten Your Success with Sean Green and Miss Owens from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm just very thankful to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I hope that we can connect. Maybe another 6 months or so, and see what other great things are going on in your life.
All right. I would love that. Hold you to that.
All right. All right, cool. Well, you got my information, so I'm just a email or text away, so it's all good.
Thanks.
Definitely. All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. And behind your 6 cents, and we thank y'all. Love you.